Hey everyone, this is Chris from Dad of Divas. Thanks so much for being here today. We are here at the Williamston Community NIESA Fire Department with John Bissard. And John has been with the station. How long have you been with the station now?
I've been with the station since 2003. Roughly.
Since 2003. So I wanted to be able to spend a little bit of time with John, talk to him a little bit about his experience as a firefighter, be able to talk to you also about some of the things that you can do in your own home to prepare for the eventuality of possible fire. So John, to start off today, what brought you into being a firefighter? What was the draw?
Well, I served in the Navy from 1998 to 2000, and then I went reserves after that, and I needed something to kind of fulfill some of my spare time. I always had the need to give back or give to my community, and one of those ways I found out was to join the fire department. I got involved with a grass fire that happened down the road. I run heavy equipment for a full-time job, and I do this as a volunteer, and so we're considered a paid-on-call department.
Okay. So how many full-time fire professionals do you have on staff right now?
It varies. Sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 2. It just depends on the call volume and things. We have 2 full-time people that serve here right now that are 24/7. One is a paramedic, one is an EMT. One of the other requirements is that they're firefighter trained. Sometimes that's not always the case. It just depends on who is available and it's scheduled to work.
Now, I know that you've seen a lot of different things. When you've gone out onto different visits, I mean, you came to my house when we had a fire at our own home. And I know that you have seen probably the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're not going to go into all of that. But with fires and with the homes that you do go into, there's probably some things that you've seen that people can do to try to get their homes a little better prepared than if not. So are there some tips or hints that you could provide for people to be able to help them to be able to get their homes a little bit better situated so that they're more prepared if a fire does happen?
One is to have an escape route and a central meeting point. The other would be to have a fire extinguisher located on every floor of the house and a lot of the living areas. At night especially, like your bedroom areas, maybe right outside the door. You could even have one in the room perhaps. I mean, it all depends on how the homeowner wants to set it up.
Okay. And what about, now you said a fire extinguisher on every level. I know that there are different types of fire extinguishers. So there are the water-based, there's chemical-based, there's different kinds. Should they have both types? Should they have one specific type? What would you suggest in that regard?
I would recommend an ABC fire extinguisher. Covers your A, B, and C fires. The other thing is to have properly working smoke detectors too in all those locations.
Yeah, I know that sometimes people forget about their smoke detectors, or they start beeping on them and they take the batteries out if they're battery operated, and they don't have the 10-year battery or the 10-year enclosed batteries. One of the nice things, and I know all of you that have been reading along lately know that I've been a brand ambassador with Kidda, and when recently I redid all of our all of our smoke detectors, we put in the 10-year alarms. And those definitely are great because we don't have to worry about having to take out the batteries every time or do that. But we do test them every so many months to make sure they're still working, and because we have a hardwired system. So that's great advice, and I really appreciate that. Now, is there any other things? Now, I know you said central meeting place, and we worked on something like that just recently ourselves, making sure that everybody knows where to go and where we should be going. But are there any other things that people should be thinking about?
Kitchen fires is a main source of fires. You also have electrical fires with all your appliances and things. TVs, computers, things plugged into one outlet. You can overload that outlet, and you didn't have failure of, say, surge protectors and outlets and things like that. The other thing is to make sure everyone knows how to call 911 and the information to give them. So when there is an emergency, we are able to respond quickly and appropriately with the right information or the right apparatus at that.
Well, that's all great information. You know, some of you have read about the fire that we had in our house. It was a grease fire, and it was something that I definitely was not prepared for. Didn't know that was going to happen, but it did happen. And now, after the fact, knowing a lot more that I do know, it is important to be able to understand you know, you don't throw water onto a grease fire. You know how to put the fire
Correct.
out, because so many times fires happen when you're least expecting it, or you're sleeping, or whatever it might be. So I really appreciate you giving us some thoughts today, giving us your perspectives, and the work that you do, because it is so important. And just thank you for all the work that you and the rest of your colleagues do here at the station.
Thank you. I'll pass that along.